It's not often a piece of technology genuinely excites me the way Samsung's new Galaxy Z Fold 7 has over the past week. This is one of those rare gadgets that feels like it's from the future, and every single person I've shown it to has had that same reaction, an instant wow the moment they see it unfold. 7 generations after the original Fold, this phone proves what patience and persistence can achieve in the world of tech. We're finally at a point where folding phones aren't just cool, they're genuinely practical. In this video, we're going to be breaking down the biggest reasons I haven't used a foldable as my main phone in the past and why the Z Fold 7 might actually change that. We'll look at what it's like to use the phone while folded, the real utility of a larger unfolded display, camera performance, battery life, and the hefty price tag. Samsung has made big improvements across the board, and I think people are going to be surprised by just how refined this device has become. Let's start with what it's like to use the Z Fold 7 while folded on the main cover display, because realistically, you're not going to have it unfolded all the time. In the past, I've always found cover displays on foldables to be too narrow or just awkwardly shaped, but this year, Samsung made the cover screen wider and it feels much closer to what we're used to on a regular smartphone. It's still not quite as wide as an iPhone or a standard Galaxy device, but it's close, and that change makes a big difference. I can now go hours without the itch I used to feel on other foldables, that sense that the display was too crammed or uncomfortable to type on. It's actually adequately wide enough now in my hand that it's much easier to type with 2 hands now. The display is also bright enough to use in direct sunlight, it runs at 120 Hz, and it's got all the vibrant color and sharpness you'd expect from a Samsung display. And thanks to how thin the phone is unfolded, like it's literally just about as thick as a USB-C port, when you fold it back up, it's no bulkier than my iPhone 16 Pro Max. But what about the main reason you'd buy this phone in the first place? The fact that it unfolds into something much bigger. Does Samsung get a check mark here too? Honestly, yes, and a big part of that comes down to how well the software and hardware integrate with each other. First off, I'm still blown away by just how thin this phone is. It's as thin as the volume rocker and the fingerprint sensor, and it's so lightweight that holding it, an 8-inch screen mind you, never feels awkward or heavy. If anything, it almost feels too light, like I can't believe something this advanced feels this weightless. That great in-hand feel is paired with One UI 8, which has done an excellent job making the larger display not just usable, but practical and intuitive. Once you experience software and hardware working together like this, it's genuinely hard to go back to a phone that can't unfold like this. Like, for example, multitasking is a dream on here. You can drag a second app from the side and resize it to however you want. You can swipe up from the bottom and you get super useful taskbar for quick app switching. It's fun to watch content on the display with it semi-folded acting as its own stand. It's also quickly becoming my primary e-reader, as the 8-inch screen is the perfect size, and I actually think it might be the lightest and thinnest e-reading experience you can get right now. Typing with the split screen keyboard feels surprisingly natural. I've cranked out tons of emails this way and actually prefer it to typing on a regular phone. There's even cool camera examples where you can make use of the cover display for selfies and make use of the main sensor for higher quality shots. And when done right, playing games on here feels even more immersive with how large the screen is. In general, I'd say I use the phone unfolded about 50 to 60% of the time and folded the remainder. Like, if I'm moving, the phone is usually folded and just used normally, but when I am stationary for a while, I want to go unfolded because of just how much more utility you get given back to you. And for anyone wondering, the crease is even less noticeable this year. I genuinely just don't notice it when I'm using it, and when I do, I don't care. The experience far outweighs the minor visual that you'll see sometimes. It also feels super durable, like the hinge is rock solid and firm to use. It truly doesn't feel like you'll break this anytime soon. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows on a phone like this. The experience of the larger screen still depends heavily on how well individual apps are optimized. While most of what I use works beautifully, like apps like Notion feel basically like the desktop version, you do occasionally run into apps that just sort of scale up instead of adapting to the screen. Sometimes it's still useful, like bigger can be better in that regard, but other times it just feels a bit clunky or overwhelming. Watching content full screen unfolded can bother a lot of people because you will see a lot of empty screen space on the sides. Personally, it doesn't bother me, but it's worth mentioning. There is also no more S Pen support for those of you who wanted that, which can be a bummer. And some of you may hate the new hole punch camera icon on the top right. It might just be like a total eyesore for you. Lastly, I want to address something that I've actually been reading on Reddit online, and it's this idea that an iPhone and an iPad mini combo is all you need, and the Z Fold 7 is just purposeless, like it's overkill, redundant. And I don't agree with that. Like, this phone is excellent when folded and often incredible when it's unfolded. You're getting both a phone and a tablet truly in one device, and I think anyone who says otherwise just hasn't lived with the foldable long enough to understand how dynamic and versatile the experience actually is. Moving on to the cameras, foldables have never had cameras good enough for me to justify buying one. This phone is extremely expensive, and don't worry, we will talk about that soon, but it used to be that it was a no-brainer that if you cared about cameras, you would just get a regular like iPhone 16 Pro Max or an S25 Ultra, because those gave you significantly better cameras for a fraction of the price. Cameras, for me, are high on my list because they're how we capture our memories. Like, the phone in our pocket is going to be our go-to to capture life's best moments. And the Z Fold 7 camera system is almost there. Like, it's quite good, better than any foldable before it, but there's still room for more. The main sensor is a huge step forward. Samsung finally brought over the 200 megapixel sensor from the S25 Ultra, and that alone is a massive difference. Every photo and video taken at 1x now feels flagship tier. It's incredible quality. I take most of my photos in 1x as well, and I'm genuinely happy and relieved that they've upgraded it this year.
Also worth pointing out as well that this is what the ultra wide would look like when you're filming. I think most people would film in this with this ultra wide lens when you're vlogging and whatnot, just because you can see more of your surroundings. Let me know what you guys think of this quality here.
The ultra wide and telephoto sensors didn't get the same level of attention. Like, you're not going to be getting the full flagship setup that you would find on something like the S25 Ultra, but there are improvements there still. Like, they've added an autofocus. Still, it's hard to ignore the fact that at this expensive price point, we're not getting the best of the best across all the lenses. One thing to note though is that shooting with the cover display with the phone like folded feels exactly as you'd expect like a normal phone, which is good, but shooting unfolded takes things to another level. The massive viewfinder feels really cool, guys, and Samsung's camera app takes advantage of the space really well. You can see the photo you just captured show up instantly on the left side while still framing for your next shot. Like, it's really cool. When it comes to battery life, I've said this many times in my videos, this is something I can't compromise on if I'm going to be able to daily something long term. The good news though is that the Z Fold 7 actually has pretty decent battery life for all the power that it requires, with me regularly getting around 5 hours of screen on time with mixed usage. It's definitely a phone that you can kill in one day with the right set of apps that you throw at it, but I think for most people, you're going to be surprised by just how long this thing actually lasts. The only downside is the charging speed. Like, it's pretty average. It's 25 watts wired at most, if I'm not mistaken, and 15 watts wirelessly. So I found from experience, it's just fast enough to charge it up in a pinch if you do need to, but not quite quick enough to charge it over a short period of time and get like almost all day battery from that. I think to reach 100%, it's gonna be well over an hour on this phone. Okay, so now let's talk about the price, because it's no small number. The Z Fold 7 comes in at $2,000 US, and here in Canada, that's about $2,500 before tax. So almost $3,000 Canadian. This is not a cheap device, and there are so many combinations of things that you can buy instead of this. Like, you can buy a new MacBook Air and an iPhone 16 for less than this one phone, or a brand new iPhone 16 Pro Max and an iPad mini for less than this phone. So it's clear to me that foldable phones are still not affordable for 99% of the people watching this video, especially in this economy. The value that you get in the Z Fold 7 through its novelty and just cutting edge tech is arguably still far less than if you are someone in need of a new phone and a new laptop. Like, you can achieve both of those goals by just going the normal route of purchasing things. And I think Samsung knows that. Like, this isn't some secret. This phone isn't built for the everyday person. So the better question becomes, if you do have the budget for the Ferrari of a phone, which this is a Ferrari, is this price justified? Honestly, it might be. Like Samsung finally created something that not only delivers the wow factor of a futuristic folding device, but also fixes the other half of the equation, the everyday experience. The times you use the phone folded on the cover screen, the camera system that you're relying on in daily life, the little things that used to hold it back, they've addressed most of them. So for people who can afford it, this is no longer just a cool gadget with a cool party trick. It's actually something that you can live with, that's practical, and you'll genuinely be happy using. Would I personally buy this phone? Yes and no, maybe. Like, the ultra wide and telephoto lenses are still holding me back, to be honest. Like, the camera system deeply matters to me, and it's tough knowing that there are phones that cost far less and still offer better camera versatility. Yes, I know, like, the 200 megapixel main sensor is a huge leap forward. It might actually even be enough to sway me, but the dilemma still lingers. And it's part of why I haven't hit the buy button yet. But if those limitations don't matter to you and you're happy with the improvements Samsung has made to the cameras, then I have no doubt that you're going to fall in love with this phone, because I certainly did. Even with its minor imperfections, I'm seriously addicted to how fun and useful the Z Fold 7 has been in my life, and I'm not looking forward to giving this review unit back to Samsung once my review period is over. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you are brand new to my channel. Comment hashtag I made it if you did finish this video, and I will talk to all of you guys in the next one. Peace.